In 1903, the Wright brothers became the first people in history to fly using a powered aircraft. It took several years of hard work, but their ingenuity paved the way for aviation. It showed that revolutions are made when you truly put your mind to a goal and try as hard as you can to achieve it. 120 years later, Splatoon players set out on their own aviation dreams when they made squids fly. This is Octoseeker Shakedown, the 10th level in Splatoon 2's single-player campaign. It's unique by its dark and serious setting and being the only level in the game with the Octoseeker enemies. Let's have a look at the layout of the level. It starts with a short swim to the launch pad that takes you to a small section with some sponges and boxes. Breaking the boxes reveals a grind rail that takes you to the Octoseeker. Octoseekers are unique enemies as there's no way to kill them. Instead, they're mainly used as platforms. This can be done by getting the Octoseeker to notice you, waiting for it to come down, then painting the side of it, then swimming on top of it. In this section, we want to ignore the Octoseeker and climb this wall to take the launch pad. At the first checkpoint, after climbing some sponges and breaking some boxes, it reveals a key that can be used on the vault to reveal a launch pad to continue in the level. After landing and getting the checkpoint, there's a short section with a lot of sponges and balloons. By shooting these balloons, a lot of ink comes out, instantly painting any sponge near it. After taking the launch pad and hitting the checkpoint, there is a large platform with an Octoseeker moving around it. On the other side, there are some sponges leading down to another section with an Octoseeker. By getting on top of it, you can move on to the next checkpoint where there are two sponges leading to a platform with an uninkable floor. After finding the launch pad, it's off to the final checkpoint. Here, there are a lot of sponges and balloons with an Octoseeker chasing after you. By dodging it and getting to the other side, there's a launch pad bringing you to the Zapfish where the level can be completed. In the early days, proof standards for world records were very relaxed. All you needed was a screenshot of the time at the end of the level or from the level select menu. I believe that all of these early records were legit, but unfortunately, we can't watch how they did their speedruns. But there's one thing in common with all world records from this time. They used the hero shot. In a casual playthrough, you're forced to use the slosher for this level. But after you've beaten the game, you can use all 9 weapons in any level you want, and there's one that stands out above the rest. The hero shot is a very flexible and strong weapon. It has the second highest fire rate in the game and doesn't have any downtime between moving and shooting. Let's have a look at the first strong world record with video proof, a 139 set by Senko on the 11th of October 2017. In this run, Senko uses the sub-weapon Curling Bomb a lot. In the story mode, there are 3 sub-weapons that you can use. The Splat Bomb is a good all-around bomb. The Auto Bomb auto-locks onto targets and chases them down. And the Curling Bomb travels in a straight line and can bounce off walls for a short time before exploding. The important thing is that the trail of the Curling Bomb leaves ink behind it. So throughout the entire level, Senko will constantly be moving behind Curling Bombs to save ink. In Splatoon, you only have a limited amount of ink in your ink tank. Since your ink is directly tied to how you move, ink management in a speedrun is very important. During the run, they will avoid all enemies where possible and focus on optimizing their movement throughout the level. This is because before the 4th checkpoint, there is a really important strategy that Senko will try to do. This Octoseeker is constantly moving around the pillar as soon as you get to the 3rd checkpoint. If you play the level fast enough, you'll be able to get onto and paint the sponge, then paint the side of the Octoseeker to climb on top of it, and finally jump off the Octoseeker to the checkpoint. If they were any slower, then they would have to wait for the Octoseeker to cycle around the pillar again. After that, Senko plays out the level like normal, kills one Octarian here to make the section easier, takes the right path to the checkpoint, then paints the sponges to get to the Zapfish and beats the level. Even just 5 months after the game came out, this level seemed like it had reached its full potential. How do you even go faster on a level like this? Since Splatoon does timing to full seconds, it's not enough to find small optimizations. You have to find enough of them to save 1 full second at a time. It would take a whole year for someone to have enough optimizations to break the record. On the 27th of November 2018, Thunderfilm set a 135 on the level, beating the previous time by 4 seconds. Let's see how he did it. Most of the time save came at the first checkpoint. Instead of going around the section in a clockwise fashion like runners previously did, Thunder went off to the right and used this sponge to go around counterclockwise. The rest of his run was very clean as well, taking sharper lines with the curling bomb alongside doing the double sponge strat at the third checkpoint without killing any Octarians. Thunderfilms was only half a second away from getting the 134, but with the strats known at the time, trying to save that half a second was going to be a challenge. Nevertheless, Thunderfilms kept going, stating in his speedrun description that the 134 is coming soon, and 2 months later, on the 28th of January 2019, he got this run. This was the cleanest run the level had ever seen. Every strat nailed to near perfection with some new strategies implemented for the first time. The main one was at the first checkpoint. Instead of shooting the crates to get the key, Thunderfilms instead threw a splat bomb from far away to quickly clear out all of the crates. Things would quiet down on the level for the next few months. With Thunderfilms 134 standing on top of the leaderboard, many thought this run was near unbeatable. Some players did some theorizing and showed that with perfect movement, a 133 could be possible on the level. But it would take someone new to come along and try to claim the record. 7 months later, on the 28th of August 2019, Emil would get this run on the level. This run might not look too different from Thunderfilms' 134, but Emil took as optimal lines as possible and implemented every strategy in the level to the highest degree. He was slowly saving milliseconds all over the run, and that starts to add up. Emil said that his Octoseeker jump was bad and the mid-level sponge was slow, saying that a 132 is possible on the level, but no one wanted to compete against a time like this, so it stood on top of the leaderboard unchallenged for 3 years. But if anyone were to take down this monster of a record, who else but the current 80% world record holder, Thundy? In 2021, Thundy got a 133 of his own, but what set him apart from everyone else was his choice of weapon, the Splat Dualies. Splat Dualies and the Hero Shot are on the surface very similar weapons. They both rapidly shoot ink by holding down the ZR button, but what sets Dualies apart are their dodge roll mechanic. By pressing the jump button while shooting with the Dualies, you can do up to 2 dodge rolls. This would obviously be faster than the Hero Shot, but dodge rolls have one big downside. After finishing a dodge roll, you're stuck in a long end animation before you become actionable again. You also lose a bit of time when shooting sponges, as the Hero Shot has a higher fire rate than regular Dualie. Dualies still have some advantages over Hero Shot in level 10. On the grind rail, Dualies can dodge roll on them to save time over just riding the rail. On the uninkable section, dodge rolls are faster than just walking, and at the end you can throw a bomb to break the Zapfish and then dodge roll into it. So what weapon was truly faster on the level? Thundy showed that a 133 was possible in 2021, but could he go further and get a 132? Thundy started to push for true perfection on the level in early 2023. He had many close attempts, but on the 2nd of March 2023, Thundy got this run. Thundy had done it. After years of theorizing, he proved that Dualies were faster on level 10. This run had everything in it. The dodge rolls on the grind rail, the right side sponge strat, the perfect Octoseeker cycle, and the double sponge strat. This level seemed to be maxed out, with there not being enough time saves to bring it down to a 131. However, there was a skip in the works that, if pulled off, could revolutionize the level. At the first Octoseeker, you can actually see a later part of the level off in the distance, the uninkable section. Splatoon levels love to do this, so this isn't that surprising, and you would normally never be able to get to that from here, so it's just a good set piece while you're playing the level. But what if, like the Wright brothers, we flew over to the uninkable section? That was the mindset of Owen on the 7th of December 2021. 2023. He was in a Discord call with some other community members messing around with the Octo Seekers in the Octo Expansion DLC. After some failed attempts, he looked at any other level with Octo Seekers in them, and it turns out in the entire series there's only one, level 10. After a few minutes of attempts, Owen shared this with the community: the level 10 shortcut, or as it's now known, Seeker Skip. This trick works by constantly throwing bombs in front of the Octo Seeker to keep it moving past the area it's normally in. That's the easy part. The hard part is the jump at the end. Since you're constantly bouncing in the air while riding the Octo Seeker, you only have around 6/10 of a second to time a jump each shake, or else you'll fall off and die. The first record with Seeker Skip was a 54-second time by Thundy. This saved 38 seconds over his last world record, the biggest time cut the level has seen since 2017. This was just day one of the skips, so the run wasn't that great. He once again used dualies as they became the absolute undisputed best weapon for Seeker Skip, since the only sections you'll be playing in the route are incredible for dualies, that being the grind rail and the uninkable section. Thundy had a limited understanding on how to actually get the Octo Seeker to fly, so he struggled a bit in the record. This was just to set a time down with a new skip. In the next 12 hours, 2 more records would be set. First, a 48-second time from a relative newcomer, Ath. He would later go on to be a decorated Splatoon speedrunner with many world records under his belt, but right now, this is one of his first. He saved a lot of time over Thundy by getting a faster perch from the Octo Seeker, and then was instantly able to start the flight over the gap. 4 hours later, Thundy struck back with a whole 1 second improvement with a 47-second time. This came from a faster start and getting the same flight as Ath. Competition seemed fierce, and it looked like that an all-out war was going to take place. But suddenly, there was a complete silence on the leaderboard. Most runners at this time weren't going for the level 10 world record. They had their eyes set on a larger prize, the any percent world record. Level 10 and any percent is a bit different as you're using the slosher instead of the dualies, and you have an unupgraded ink tank, making the timing on the bombs slightly more difficult. Launcher would set a brand new any percent world record on the 27th of December with a 127.42. Many other runners like El Phantom, Obo Master Ozzy, Danielle, Nagat, and even Thundy would rise up the leaderboards implementing Seeker Skip into their runs. But in terms of the level 10 leaderboard, it seemed like the 47 was the lowest the record would go. With the current setup, it was practically impossible to save any more time. On the 18th of March 2025, Nagat would upload a brand new record for level 10. It started out the same as any run. He got to the Octo Seeker, got on top of it, and began the flight. However, this flight was like no other that anyone had ever seen before. Nagat got a direct line to the launch pad, then when he jumped off the Octo Seeker, he got an insane boost. With both of these time saves, he finished out the run, a 46-second time. Nagat was just a few milliseconds off getting a 47, but managed to clutch up the world's first ever 46 time on level 10. The skill needed to get the flight and the insane jump off the Octo Seeker seemed too crazy for most people. That was until 4 months later when the player Railorant tied Nagat's 46 on the level. It was only slightly slower than Nagat, but a 46 is still a 46 and was an amazing accomplishment. The main problem with level 10 was how inconsistent Seeker Skip was. Sometimes the Seeker won't see the bomb and will instantly put an end to any world record attempt. But 11 months later, Ath came back to show off a brand new setup. Ath found that by bringing the Octo Seeker down at a different point with a different angle, the Octo Seeker will already be looking towards the platform in the distance. This saves time by being able to skip the small animation of the Octo Seeker turning to face the platform after throwing the first bomb. It also helps that the setup was way more consistent, so that was a relief to all speedrunners. That day, Ath, Nagat, and Railorant all set a new tied world record of 45 seconds. They were all theorizing what the limit of the level would be, and they all agreed that a 45.0 would be the ultimate level 10 world record. Railorant kept playing the level just to see if he could break the limit. It seemed so close, yet so far. The next day, Railorant had a magnificent run, an amazing flight. All he had to do was finish the run the same way that he always did before. tragedy for Raylorant. A tiny jump at the very end costed him a 44-second time. This did spark some hope for him. Everyone's prediction on the limit from yesterday were all wrong. A 44-second time was achievable. He just had to keep grinding. The very next day, he would have an opportunity. On the 6th of February 2026, Raylorant would make history by setting the first 44-second run on the level. It had it all: the new setup, the fast flight, the amazing jump, and a brilliant end. Ath and Ika would tie the 44-second time. A day after that, Nagat would come back to the level and also tie the world record, getting a 44 of his own. And that is where the world record stands today. Just like the Wright brothers all those years ago, if we put our heads together and think outside the box, incredible discoveries can be made in the things that we love. It's theorized by Raylorant and Ath that a perfect run, a 43-second time, could be done, but if that will ever be achieved remains to be seen. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel to stay up to date when new Splatoon speedrunning content is coming out. If you want to watch more Splatoon speedrunning videos, I'd recommend watching this one on how speedrunners broke Splatoon 1. It's an amazing run with a lot of cool tricks that I think you'll love.